Welcome back. Have you ever been on a team that just clicks? Everything's in sync, problems just seem to melt away. It feels incredible, right? But what happens when the pressure really cranks up? A deadline's breathing down your neck, a project goes totally off the rails. Why is it that some of the absolute smartest, most talented teams can just completely fall apart, while others seem to hit their stride in the middle of all that chaos? Well, today we're going to dig into a really fascinating exercise that was built to explore that very question.
Seriously, think about it for a second. Have you ever been on one of those huge, high-stakes projects? You've got all the right people, all the talent in the world, and it just goes completely sideways. It's so frustrating, and it happens all the time. So how do you actually get a team ready for that moment of crisis you know is coming?
Well, think of it this way. How do you train pilots to handle a crazy emergency without, putting a real plane full of people at risk? You stick them in a flight simulator. It's this safe space where they can practice, they can make mistakes, and they can learn what to do when everything's going wrong. And that's exactly what the Acid River Challenge is. You can basically think of it as a flight simulator, but for teamwork.
And look, the source material is really clear on this. This is not just some fun little team building game, it is a specific module designed to do two absolutely crucial things. First, it evaluates how a team actually gets stuff done, their strategies, their process, the whole shebang. And second, it actively sharpens their problem-solving skills, both for the big picture and for the team itself.
Because, let's be real, crossing a metaphorical acid river isn't really about building some rickety bridge. It's about holding a giant mirror up to the team's inner workings. It shows you everything: how they communicate, who steps up and leads, how they plan, and, most importantly, what happens when that brilliant plan falls apart. It shows you how the team really operates when the chips are down.
Okay, so we get the why, but how does this thing actually work? Let's break down the mechanics of the challenge, what's really going on under the hood.
The actual physical rules can change from place to place, but the mental journey a team has to go on, it's always the same. It follows these 4 key phases. First, they gotta stop and really figure out what the problem is. Second, they have to come up with a strategy together. Third, it's go time. They execute that plan. And finally, and this might be the most important part, they have to be able to adapt and refine that plan when things, inevitably, don't go the way they expected.
And this quote from the source material just nails it. It's not just about getting to the other side. A team could totally stumble across through sheer dumb luck while their process was a complete train wreck. The real focus here, the thing that gets evaluated, is the quality of their strategy. Was it thought out? Did everyone contribute? Could they pivot when they hit a wall? That's what matters. So if winning the game isn't even the main goal, then what are teams supposed to walk away with? Let's talk about the real skills you learn here, the ones that are incredibly valuable long after you've made it to the other side of that riverbank.
This right here breaks down the core lesson perfectly. On one side, you've got task completion. Did you get across? It's a simple yes or no. But all the real gold, all the value is on the other side. Strategy. How did the team plan? How did they talk to each other? How did they react to a setback? That process, that's where the deep learning is, because the outcome is temporary, but a good process, you can take that with you to solve any challenge.
So what does focusing on that process actually build?
Well, the source material points to several core skills. It really sharpens strategic planning, it forces people to solve problems together, and it puts team-level execution to the test. These are the absolute building blocks of any amazing team, and an exercise like this makes them sharper, more instinctual for when you need them back in the real world.
Which brings us to the final, and maybe the most critical piece of this whole puzzle: bridging the gap. How do the lessons you learn in a simulation like this actually translate back to your Monday morning meeting?
See, when a team works together to get through a simulated crisis in a safe place, they build so much more than just a fun memory. They build trust, they build a kind of muscle memory for solving tough problems under pressure. They learn how their teammates think, how they react, and all of that stuff translates directly into real-world confidence for when the stakes are actually high.
And the intended outcome, as you can see here, is a real, tangible improvement in the team's overall performance. By practicing and tweaking their strategic process in a controlled setting, teams come out the other side better equipped, way more cohesive, and just plain more effective at handling whatever craziness their job throws at them.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought. The goal, of course, isn't to find a literal river of acid. The point is to look ahead and identify your team's next big challenge, the one that's really going to test your strategy, your collaboration, and your ability to adapt as a single unit. So the question is, What's the acid river your team needs to cross next?